President Biden meeting with moderate senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema as Democrats struggle to unite behind a pair of massive spending bills. The party hoped to get it done by Halloween, but leadership fears they will fall short. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer saying it's very tough. We have to reduce the dollars because we can't pass the president's proposed dollars or the Senate's hypothesis of dollars they want to use, and so we're going to have to use a lower number. Got that? South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott's here. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you. We spoke to a lawmaker from the House last hour from Wisconsin. He's pretty confident. He felt good. It's going to cost $0 for the American people.
And everyone's going to love it.
That's ridiculous. Well, Dana, Bill, there's no way this is going to cost zero for the American people. Here's what we know. A $2 trillion, or the largest tax increase in American history, is not free. When you spend $1.9 trillion in a COVID relief package with less than 10% for COVID, you have a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, and then you follow that with a $2 trillion social infrastructure bill. There's nothing free about any of this. It's cost to the average American family goes through the ceiling. Tens of thousands of dollars of additional debt being added to every single household in America. This is failed leadership and a one-way ticket to socialism. This is not good for America and certainly not good for Americans.
What I saw coming out of this meeting that Biden had yesterday with the progressives and the moderates was basically, especially progressives, they'll take an inch because they know that they'll get the mile later on. So what he said is, we're going to get these programs, get everybody hooked on them for a year, and then next year for the midterm, and when you're running for re-election, the questions will be, well, don't you want to extend the child tax credit? Like, how could you not want to have free community college? What do you mean you're not for these climate programs? And then they're going to try to pin it on Republicans.
Well, Dana, you hit the nail on the head. That's why one of the things I've been saying for the last several weeks is that the cost is one thing, but the content is scarier than the cost. You think about extending more benefits to the American people that we cannot afford, that obviously in many ways aren't even federal responsibilities. It only helps hook more people on a government paycheck. That's bad for their futures. It's bad for their kids. As a guy who grew up in poverty, the one thing I always wanted to do was to live the American dream of home ownership that requires work. I wanted to start my own business that requires employees. The two things that are missing from this so-called recovery: workers, because they're paying people to stay at home, which means that the American dream gets further and further away for people living in poverty, like the household that I grew up in.
Yeah, Dana makes
That's not good for the soul.
Dana makes a great point there. I mean, what would you do in that circumstance? How would,
well, I think you just have to. Well, I would obviously vote no, because here's what I know about government handouts. If you can do it yourself, you should. If you cannot, it's a different question. What we're talking about today is extending benefits well into the American middle class for one purpose, is to get more people disconnected from work, more dependent on the government, and that's bad for their lives. Listen, here's one of the things that we can say, Dana and Bill, is that during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, we basically had 100% income replacement for the vast majority of Americans. They had more time off. It led to more crime, more suicides, and more apathy. That is not the American way.
The other thing that they've done is they've pulled back this idea of the IRS getting a big boost in order to look into anyone's bank account with $600. Now they said it'll be maybe it's $10,000, but they got caught. I think they tried to pull this over on the American people and to try to pass the bill, and then we would find out what was in it later. And I think that it's so politically poisonous that they've realized they got to back away.
You're 100% right, Dana. $600 versus $10,000 sounds like a big jump. Unfortunately, if you are a minimum wage earner in America, your accounts would still be transferred to the IRS. In other words, if you have an $800 a monthly payment for your rent, you have a $400 for food for the entire year, $10,000, you are now going to be audited potentially and certainly investigated your accounts by the IRS. I think we have to be very careful when that number goes up. It sounds like a big change, but the truth is every single working American will still be captured and their financial information would be transferred to the IRS. So that is not a concession because Republicans aren't even allowed to be a part of the negotiations.
No, why have any number?
You shouldn't. Bill, that's exactly right.
Help me with something here, because I think America and Washington in particular has a giant riddle to solve by the end of this year. Maybe it gets done and maybe it doesn't. And I guess we're going to blow by the Halloween deadline. You know, maybe it's Christmas. Who knows? Yes. Maybe it's early December. But you got a debt ceiling deal. You got a government funding bill. You're going to have to make a decision on infrastructure and also this massive social spending bill. And based on what we understand right now is that Democrats have cut the number in half. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just what we're told. So what do you do if you're a progressive? Do you say, well, I wanted A through Z, but I only have to accept A through H, and in return, I'll go ahead and vote on the infrastructure bill as well? You see the Rubik's cube that's shaping up right here. What do progressives do if the number's cut in half and the infrastructure bill is still on the table? Do they vote yes on both in the end?
Well, Bill, the news that came out of the White House that I heard about was that Joe Manchin was standing pretty strong on not allowing much of the climate agenda to be a part of the package. The progressives say that without the climate agenda in the package, they won't vote for it at all. And that may include the bipartisan infrastructure package. So I'm hopeful that, frankly, they continue to argue with one another and push this can down the road, because it's ultimately in the best interest of everyday Americans, people working paycheck to paycheck, not to have another $10,000 or $15,000 of national debt placed on their households for what really is not priorities, not necessities, but a wish list, a Christmas wish list of progressives.
Hey, Senator Scott, I wanted to ask you about this. You worked very hard for most of the year with your Democratic counterpart, Senator Cory Booker. The police reform effort, it didn't work out. He blames you. Watch this.
We made tremendous progress over 9 months on a bill that wasn't quite the George Floyd bill, but it would have made transformative change in policing in America. And I thought that that was the beginning of the end in the negotiations, but it turned out that my Republican negotiating partner was not willing to embrace so much of the change that we had agreed upon.
Is that true?
Well, two things are true. I'm still at the table. 2 years in a row, they walked away. More importantly, what they wanted to do were two fundamental things I completely disagree with. Number one is to nationalize all local police. That is not the American way. And number two, there were 11 sections that either reduced funding, made departments ineligible for funding, and that to me means defunding the police by little thousand cuts. Those two things I will not agree with. We did make progress on the chokeholds and no-knock warrants. We made progress on police cameras, but in the end, change requires resources. We cannot ask police officers to go into some very dangerous situations without the equipment or the manpower. Almost 400 vacancies in Baltimore City right now because they can't recruit officers. Right. You don't demonize, demoralize, and defund police and then ask for better policing. It's just not the way. And once again, Dana, I know this is a long answer. I'll just say this, though. Imagine 81% of African Americans saying that they want the same level of policing or more policing, and the cities they live in are cutting the police budgets. That sounds contrary to reality.
Indeed. It was great to see you. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Come back soon, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Senator.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.